Welcome to the Quantum Time Traveller, where we journey beyond time and space to unlock the universe's deepest secrets. I'm your host, Emma Bushell, and together with my co-host, Susie Edwards, we'll guide you through channeled experiences and soul truths, revealing ancient wisdom and higher dimensions. In episodes, we'll also welcome invited guests to share their own spiritual revelations and cosmic insights. Prepare to expand your mind and elevate your spirit as we uncover the mysteries of existence. This is the Quantum Time Traveller, where the universe speaks, and we're so excited for you to join us on our journey. Welcome to this episode, and this is Emma Bushell. I am your host on the podcast, The Quantum Time Traveller, and this episode is really my story about what is channeling. So this is channeling explained, and I'm going to keep it really brief because it is a phenomena. However, yes, everybody can channel. Yes, everybody has the ability to channel. And also, you may not even know that you're doing it. It's happening naturally, but you just didn't really realize it. It's when you go into the realms of trance channeling, which I can do, that you then understand there is a big difference between the two. And this is one that I've evolved and developed for all my life. So over 30 years worth of investment, over 30 years of experience, and also awakening that I then realized what was going on. At the time I didn't, but I do now that I have been able to further develop and learn and teach the things that I do for other people that are going through the same journey. With their own experience. So let's talk about channeling explained. And it's really a question of the phenomena of channeling and shifting that concept, really, shifting that conscious thought that it's something that is really freaky. It's something that, why would you even want to know about it? Or what's the point of that? But in pure essence, channeling is about accessing information. It's accessing intelligence. It's accessing what your senses are screaming out to you, shouting from the rooftops. Your body is feeling it. Your senses are heightened. And you've got a gut feel about something that's telling you information that you can't quite understand or put your finger on, but you know it. And that's all that matters. And so many people ignore it. How many times have you ignored a gut feel on something? How many times do you perhaps make a decision, but actually your gut is telling you that it wasn't quite right in the first place? And you've just gone headfirst into the other way round. You've not even thought about it. And it comes back and it tells you so. How many times have you done that? Because I know I have. And that is your gut instinct. That is a sense of information or intelligence that's telling you that you need to listen to something. A lot of people run businesses on intuition. A lot of people run lots of different entrepreneurial businesses. Creative artists are known channelers. They channel their divas, they channel their voices, they channel their lyrics and their expression because it's naturally coming through them at a time when they are being very, very creative. And it's normally around the use of which side of the brain you're using at that moment to express something or receive some information. Now, let's just take it from my perspective. let's talk about channeling as in your senses and your feelings and your knowings and you might be hearing things or you might be smelling things, you might be tasting something. It's all very sensory. And these are just messages that you're given or signs that you're given in your body and your sensory elements where you're just shown things as a guide or as a sign. And it's a way of communicating with your senses. It's as purely and simply as that. And it goes unnoticed because a lot of people don't know how to read the signs. A lot of people then overthink what they're thinking and thinking that it's not true. And then they dismiss that based on, oh, well, that's a bit of a load of rubbish, and I'm just going to park it, or I'm actually going to just think that that was a bit weird. It was a bit odd. Yeah. Now that is a form of channeling. It's also a form of psychic ability. And that's it. There is nothing else to that phenomena. Everybody has that. Everybody, I believe, is psychic on one degree or another. And it's whether you choose to feed into those signs or go with your gut or understand what you're being shown. And then you form some kind of almost like a picture or a pattern of communication that's being shown to you. Um, I do teach this. I have a globally accredited CPD training of this, how you actually channel and what you actually do, and all of the things for those people that are really interested in a foundational course. And we go into massive depth about channeling and the foundations of channeling. So just be aware of that. Um, so in terms of access, in terms of going that bit further, and it really is a conscious shifting of your mind into a mental space. So it's into a space, some say they go into a meditation, some say they just shift into a different zone. You might even be daydreaming in your car. A lot of people channel while they're driving. Have you ever done that where you just can't remember how you got from A to B, but you got there, you've almost gone on autopilot? That's a form of daydream, but it's also a form of channeling that you aren't aware of, but it's actually fact. That's true. So it's going into a different mental space. But in this instance, channeling, it's when you're receiving information. So you may be hearing something or be given a message or being given a sign over and over again. And actually, you're making it be noticed in your mental space because you can't ignore it because it's showing up all the time or it's showing up more than two or three times for you to make it like a conscious thing, like this is actually happening. And it's normally then that people start to think, oh my God, something weird is going on. Or conversely, take that as excitement of that higher state of communication, of that frequency, I call it, of receiving higher intelligence, which is normally coming through in a state of light. And it's a light frequency that is entering your senses. And the more developed you become, and the more consciously aware you become, and the more open to receiving and trusting what you're receiving, you naturally open up to further knowledge and wisdom, and in this case, frequency that comes in to give you further signs and learning and senses. And it's just part of your growing, trusting, and learning that you become so much more proficient at it. And you see things shift very quickly. You see things come up very quickly that you never saw before because you've made it consciously aware rather than just shut it off. So with myself, I've gone on to really through awakenings, really through my own development, that I found that not only was I receiving these intuitive nudges, these heightened senses, and spirit was coming in physical, I can visually see spirit over and over again, that I couldn't not take notice of this after quite a long time of just abandoning it and thinking that it was fear and I was making it up, and all of the things that I felt that my society that I was in, my environment that I was in, the people around me that were saying were making it feel like very unnatural what was going on with me. And I had to go through huge learnings and sort of experience of what was happening to me was not a great thing because of other people in my environment or what society was saying or my relationships at the time, to uncover a real fear about this until I couldn't really put up with it anymore and thought, I have to learn more about this because it's still going on. And that's what I did. So I've now developed my gifts. I now fully own my gifts, as in, I don't fear them. I don't think they're wrong. I don't think that I shouldn't be doing what I do, because the amount of support and help and revelations that I have helped so many people with their journey and interpretations, what's happening in their energy. I'm able to read mind, thought, emotional sense, what's happening in the body, past lives, future lives. I'm able to guide and give guidance and ultimately release people from sufferance, release people from a state of being where they not necessarily have had the support, because a lot of people can't find the support that they need for things that are happening to them like this. So that's how positively I use my experience. When you're going into trance channeling came to me more and more at the beginning of the year of 2024. It has become so big in my world because I've been given, like you can hear on the Quantum Time Traveler, and as we go through the episodes, my channeling has become better and better. Like from when I first started episode 1 to even episode 4, the difference of my channel is completely different than it started with right at the beginning of the podcast, which was we started that in June 2024. So here I sit now in November 2024 and can honestly say that channeling has changed my world in the sense of probably accountability. Helping other people with guidance has been the massive change for transformation of other people's journeys and giving them certainty in the messaging that I receive. And also being able to clear energy, understand what's going on in somebody's energy field, to be able to shift people out of a negative state of being or negative energy space and move them away and through and alchemize that energy so that they can create a peaceful environment for themselves and also understand how it works, understand what they're going through, and work through that so that they can really, really want to almost come to some kind of resolve and understanding and a deepened sense of trust. And trance channeling, where I've gone into galactics, when I've gone into dimensional states, or a channeling really means the receiving of messages from a different energy. A trance channeling is a dimensional state of reality. It's almost like how it makes me feel is I can feel there's a right and a left side of my brain. The right side of my brain is intuition based, and the left side of my brain is logic based. And when I go into this mental space of consciously shifting my mindset and tuning in like a radio station into a frequency, I can actually feel the space in between my two parts of my brain have almost become open and a channel to receive. It's almost like they kind of almost shifted, and I'm just receiving a pure line or a pure space or a pure gap between me and a tuned frequency, which I have the ability to hear, sense, see, and experience in my body. Now, trance channeling can have the effect of a light being or a higher being or a different energy, however you want to term it, that can enter into my energy field, which means they can enter into my body. And I have had this experience. I know it's happening. I trust it. I wouldn't have let it in if it wasn't. And it's purely to give higher intelligence knowledge to the world, to the message, because all it is I'm a channeled message, and that information is coming through me at that ability for me to be able to speak it out and showcase the world of that. And that's what you call trance channeling. And it's something I never ever thought I would do. It's not something I never thought that I would be in. But I use my discernment with it. I gauge what's happening, and it's for the highest sense and the good, it's the highest good of humanity, really, or the message that I'm giving is because it's needed in the world. And channeling for me has become so generationally in years to come, this work or this podcast, this information of intelligence will be the main currency or the main way in which people will want to communicate, because it's already a lost art, intuition. A lot of people are disconnected from their intuition, but it will become so needed in generations to come because it will keep people human in years to come. And it is the biggest, most fundamental frequency that you will need in years and years to come, in generational cycles in the future. So there you have it, a brief synopsis, a brief just me channeling and how it's been and what it means. I'd love to share your thoughts with me. If you've got any questions or you want anything answered, then please come over to our Facebook group, The Quantum Time Traveler, where you can join us and be part of a community that will be part of this podcast, that will get messages from advanced, highly intelligent sources that you can be a part of. And if you really want to do that, then jump over to the Facebook group. Thanks so much for listening and viewing. Remember, I'm on YouTube, and go find me there.